Hi everyone, welcome back to Crochet Rocks, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make my new infinity scarf, which I have made with this twist and shout yarn, and it's in this kind of black and grey colour. I don't have any left to show you because I used it all up on this particular tutorial, but this is made with a cluster V-stitch. I know it just looks like maybe a traditional V-stitch, but it's a traditional cluster, but it's actually a cluster V-stitch, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a moment. So this is made with a DK yarn, and I've also done a swatch or two with Aran weight yarn so that you can see the difference. With a DK, I've used a 4.5mm crochet hook, and with the Aran I used a 5mm. So Aran yarn is a 4-weight yarn across the pond, and a DK weight is a 3. So this is a 3-weight. It's called fashion yarn, so it's not exactly a DK, but you can look at it and you can see that it is. Now I've made this one into an infinity scarf. I'll give you all the dimensions and everything when we get going on the tutorial. But I really love this yarn. It's got a little bit of a glitz to it. I don't know if it's coming up on the camera. If I put the light on, it creates too much shadow. So I decided to see what it looked like with an Aran. And I have this really lovely Aran yarn, which I really love. But as you can see, you can't really see what pattern it is I'm using with this, and this is the Premier yarn, and I've forgotten the name of it at this precise moment in time, but it's one of my absolute favourites. I've got some fingerless gloves that I've made. I got this in a yarn swap that I did a while ago now with Glenda from Creative Grandma, and she sent this to me, and I did buy a bit extra. I managed to find it online because I really liked it, and I wanted to make a scarf to go with my fingerless gloves. So I made continue with this and finish it off and make this one into just a scarf rather than an infinity scarf because it is more chunky. But to show you what the pattern does actually look like, I made a swatch with some plain yarn. And here it is. So this is made with an Aran weight, a 4-weight yarn from Poundland in this lovely kind of mulberry kind of pink colour. They do a variety of them, and this is premium acrylic in a mustard shade. So this is the one I'm going to show you how to do it with the tutorial. I'm going to show you a swatch, and I'll give you a really good join to join up if you want to do the infinity scarf. So this is what it kind of looks like in just a plain colour. Obviously it would look exactly the same, maybe just a smaller stitch if I used a DK, but you can use any. I'll give you the dimensions for both. So I'm just going to pause it for a second while I get all the stuff ready and get ready to do the tutorial. So in the meantime, if you haven't already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It's here somewhere, and the notification bell, and you'll see when new videos pop up. So just bear with me a moment while I get rid of all this out of the way. Okay, so I'm just going to use this to show you how we make it. This is, as I say, a 4-weight Aran yarn. You can use either. So when I made the scarf I showed you, the infinity scarf, for that particular scarf, I did a foundation chain of, where are we? I think I did 26. So this is a multiple of 3, this pattern, so you can decide to make it wider, thinner, whatever you want. It's a multiple of 3 plus 2. So for that particular scarf I did 24 plus 2, so that's 26. And for the Aran, because it's thicker and I wanted a similar width, I did 21 plus 2. But obviously, if you wanted a nice thick scarf, if you wouldn't want to make it into an infinity scarf, then you might want it thicker, you might want it longer. So as long as you do a multiple of 3 plus 2 extra, you'll be fine. Now the length of my infinity scarf, if you want to turn it into one, I just go by a rule of thumb of 60 inches roughly, but obviously when you're making a scarf you can just make it whichever size you want. So for this then, I'm going to leave a generous tail so I can sew it in, and I'm going to make a slip knot. Now you can do that however you normally would do your slip knot, but for my foundation chain, before you go off and pause it and get that done, you really want to make this loose, because when this is quite a bulky stitch and it pushes out, so if you don't make your foundation chain loose, then it's going to taper in like this, and you don't want that. Plus, if you're making it into an infinity scarf, you want it to be the same width both ends for when you sew it in. You don't really want it to do this. So make them nice and loose. So pull right up. So that we're going to make 21 chain plus 2. So you really want to pull them up like this. So I'm going to pause it because it's a bit boring just watching me do my chain. So don't forget, I'm doing 21 plus 2. I'll come back to you when I have my chains all done. Okay, so there we are. I've done my chain. I've tried to make it as loose as possible. It doesn't look that loose, does it? So we'll see if that makes a difference when we get to the end. So now I'm going to work into the 5th chain from the hook. So the loop there doesn't count, so we count back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to yarn over. Hang on, is it one my thumb's on? I'm lost count. Let's do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I'm yarning over. I'm going to go in that stitch. And I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to pull up my loop a little, yarn over and go through 2. Now I'm going to stop there. I'm going to yarn over again, go back in the same stitch, pull up a loop, pull it up and go through 2. So we are in the UK treble crocheting 2 together, or in the US double crocheting 2 together. So now I'm going to yarn over and go through all those 3 loops on my hook, and I'm going to chain 2. Now I'm going to go back in that same space, yarn over and do exactly the same thing. Pull up my loop, yarn over and go through 2. Yarn over and go back in that same loop again, and pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, then pull through all 3. Now we're going to stop and have a look. Now see what I mean about it bulks up, this stitch, it kind of bulks up. So that's why you need a nice baggy chain, and I don't know if mine's baggy enough. We'll see. So now we're going to skip 2, and we're going to go into the next stitch and do exactly the same thing again, our cluster. So we're going to go in, pull up our loop, yarn over, pull through 2. We want to pull it up slightly more than you would if you were doing this stitch normally. And we're going to go back in, pull up and go through 2. 3 on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 3, 2 chain. Now that's one side of our cluster. We're going to do the next. Go back in the same space, yarn over and pull right up, not massively. Pull through 2, repeat that step, pull up, pull through 2, 3 on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. So that's our cluster, nice and snug and side by side. And if you can hear the rain, I do apologise, it's a bit noisy today, the rain, but that's out of my control. So I'm going to skip 2, 1, 2, into this one, and repeat that again. Pull up, through 2, yarn over, back in, yarn over and pull up, through 2, 3 on my hook, yarn over and pull through 3, 2 chain, and repeat that in the same space. And this is our repeat. And it's a nice easy stitch once you get going. You can see what I mean about the bulking out. So you can pull this slightly, this chain, so it will elongate a little, but I'm hoping, I tried to make it as baggy as I could, but obviously you didn't want to know. Just if it helps you, it could be a handy little thing to use a hook that's bigger. So that's maybe a couple of half sizes or a size bigger, should I say. You know what I mean. Pull up, through 2, and that's our repeat. So I'm going to finish this one. We have a little look, and that's what you're looking for. You've got your chains at the side here, which will be our turn-in chain sort of thing, and make the post at the edge. Now I'm going to carry on. Might as well carry on with you, hadn't I? I haven't really got that much left. 1, 2, into the 3rd. With the variegated yarn, it can be very difficult to see that Premier yarn that's name escapes me. It's really, really difficult to see which one you're going into, and it's very, very easy to be left with the wrong amount of stitches at the end of the row. It's not that bad if you do. I'm just going to pull some yarn out. You can get by it, or it's not that wide a row. You can just undo it and go back. So here we go. 1. Oh, did I finish that? Yes, I did. 1, 2, and in the 3rd, pull up. This is my last cluster of this row. Finish off this last one in the same space. Now we should have 3 left, and we're going to go into this very last stitch and make a normal UK treble or US double crochet in that very last one. And that gives us our post on that side. We're going to turn our work, and we're going to now go through these the back of our work, and we're going to go into these spaces that we've created between our cluster. So we're going to chain 2. When I'm working with a treble crochet, which is a UK treble or a US double, I only ever chain 2. I think chaining 3 is too many. So we're going to do our cluster exactly the same, but we're going to go in the center of our stitch that we've just made, where we did the 2 chain spaces. And it's now much easier because you know where you're going and the nice big holes to work in. It's simpler. And there we go. That's all we're going to do. Nice and easy. And we don't do any chain between, just to go in now in between our clusters. I didn't realise when I chose this yarn that it's the same colour as the hook. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Colour coordinated, but possibly a tad confusing. There we go. So we're just going into those spaces, nice and simple. We'll go all the way to the end because it's not very wide, and I can show you what we do when we get to the end of the row. The beauty of this stitch is it's so easy to find where you're going. Obviously that first row is a little bit trickier, especially if you've got variegated yarn as I did. That was hard to see. In fact, I think I did go wrong at one point in the first instance and I had to start again, which wasn't a bad thing because I'd made it too wide for me. So I undid it and did it again. Okay, so there we are. We're nearly at the end. One more. If I've gone ahead of you, then as usual, just pause me, catch up. I'm going to pull out more yarn. Oops. Where am I? Did I do my 2 chain? I think I did 1. Okay. This is my last one. Now we want to go into the top chain. So looking at it, you can see it there just at the side of our work, of our first stitch, and we're going to do our very last UK treble or US double, and that completes the repeat. So I'll get my other swatch back because I feel like it might be easier to see on the pink, but as you can see, it is bowing slightly, but I think it can be pulled into, it's not too bad. It's not going in too much, but as you can see, using it with the pink, I've got it upside down. There we are. You can see the stitch definition a little bit easier on this, and you're going into the top of your cluster every round, and you carry on. If you want to make it into an infinity scarf exactly the same as mine, I always think that 60 inches is about right for a good size infinity scarf. But if you wanted to make it shorter to more of a cowl or neck warmer, then you could. I mean, you're going in the length, so once you've reached the desired length, you can just end off. If you want to make it into a nice long scarf, you can. If you want to make it wider or thinner, then you can. So at the end of this video, I will put up a link to a join which is invisible, and it's very easy. I have got 2 joins on my channel. I'll put both on so that if it's a little bit difficult and you find that one too tough to do, then there's the other one. Now if you wanted to, I didn't, but before you do that, you can do a single crochet, which is double crochet in the UK, but you can go all the way around your work, and that way when you are joining it, it's a little bit easier, because this end you're looking for the corner, and in this colour it's easy, but if you've got a variegated yarn, you can't always see where you're going. So if you wanted to just do a border around, but don't forget, it won't be seamless then. You won't get a seamless join. You'll have your join between 2 single crochets, but it really does depend on what effect you want. So I will put up a little card. You'll see a link that will pop up in the top of the video, and if you click that, it will take you straight to the join. But you know, also, you know, when you see the videos pop up at the end, suggested ones, it'll be one of those. So thanks for watching. Stay safe, everyone, and I will see you on the next one. Bye for now.